Hello, welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be talking about how to interpret this ET scene which I've been given for Project R&D. I'm going to be talking about how its ADR and Foley amplifies the scene, makes it more emotionally potent, and the first way I think that it does this is from, let's first start off with the music and the backing track. The scene itself is quite intense, and the reason why you find it is tense is not necessarily because of the chase. You could tell it was a chase, but without the music, you could take it in a different context. If you had goofy music over it, it would be seen as like a comedy or like not actually being taken seriously. But with the emotion, with how like serious the music sounds and how much drive it has, you can tell that this is a serious moment and it keeps your attention on the scene a lot more than if it had like a different type of music or if it had no music at all. Another way I think that it proves the intensity of the chase is with a lot of the ADR and Foley work, especially when it comes to the sound effects of when, I don't know, when they're on the bike and they're turned to the left and you hear the pebbles and the screech, and it's an unpleasant, unsettling noise, which is kind of how the whole thing plays out. It's unsettling, you feel on edge, that the noise of the dirt rubbing against the tyre rubber, it's unsettling, it's unnerving, and that sound is almost like an epitome of what this scene is trying to make you feel. It's trying to make the audience feel like, which is uncomfortable and on edge and worried for the characters, and that is kind of like how it does. So the sound almost complements, the sound is almost a direct representation of what the scene is trying to achieve. And another thing, the music also can make things more believable. So especially even if we're talking about the context of this scene alone, and you haven't seen any of the movie scenes prior and forward, you had no idea that E.T. had this power. And if the music didn't convey this properly, didn't make you almost preempt it with the build-up, with the chords coming in about a few seconds before, which signifies to the audience something unusual and like magical was about to happen. If that didn't happen before, and with E.T. just started flying off, it could almost be seen as laughable, but not even in the sense of like comedy where it seems far-fetched. But that's how the sound effects and the backing track once again was used to utilise, not only to portray like a certain mood to the person watching the scene, but also to make it believable, make the things that happen seem like it would happen. So it also makes a lot of the things that happen in the scene more credible as well. As well as that, as well as the music, also just the intensity and how no matter what point, it almost feels like the music is going and going and going, almost symbolic of like how the characters themselves, the kids and the police, are going and going and going, moving forward. It's almost like the music, the way that the chords are driven and the speed of it and the BPM of it and everything, and the way that it progresses, almost seems like it's almost trying to rush its way to the end of the song itself. And I feel like, again, it's another example of how this ADR, Foley, music all go hand in hand with exactly what obviously Steven Spielberg was trying to go for. And I feel like that's a great example. And this is a great example just because of all the reasons I've just said, how it is exactly what it wants. And you could tell they knew exactly what to do, and you could tell how meticulously it was planned. Now every little noise was perfect, how they got everything right, how the landscape they was on, how they got the perfect pebbles, how they had the right car noises for each individual car, how if you heard there was just one car or two car, let's say for example there's one car, you'd only hear one car going, but there's multiple cars, and they made sure to layer up them layer up them sound effects as well. And that also again goes hand in hand with it, because with multiple noises going over each other at once, it's going to feel a lot, it's going to feel overwhelming, intense, which is the whole point of the scene, is to feel overwhelming and intense. And that's kind of the whole point. And then literally every scene, every little bit which could by itself would be seen as slightly intense anyway, like this scene would already be seen as a chase and could have some intensity to it, but with all these extra aspects which they could have used, they decided to choose every aspect. There isn't a single stone unturned or like an aspect they didn't use. They used all of it. And yeah, that is my that is how I interpret this ET clip. Thank you for watching.